What's going on, guys? Steve from the Midmasters here, and today I'm going to show you how to replace your ordinary headlights with HIDs. So if you drive an old truck, by now you figured out that back in the day headlight technology sucked, and my beloved purple pickup truck is no exception. This is the usual headlight for this year of truck, and they suck. They just don't put out the same kind of light. Newer cars, I feel like when I drive around that I look like I always have lows on, and I feel like newer cars always look like they have highs on. So we're gonna fix that. So I picked up an Op7 Bolt Series HID kit. The cool thing about the kit is it's literally plug and play. There's no cutting of wires, there's no splicing into your ordinary system. It is literally just plug, 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 keep plugging away. And your only real connections other than to the lighting system itself is one to the battery, two grounds, your bulbs, and then one of your harnesses for your lights will get plugged in to there so that the controls in the cab will work. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, so first step you want to do is lay everything out. So each side gets a bulb, each side gets a ballast. Now this kit does high beam and low beam, so they come with this extra ballast, so make sure each side has one of those. They also come with an extension just in case you need to extend any one of these parts, so each side gets an extension. Then you have the main wiring loom. So just laying it out just helps kind of organize my thoughts, know where everything is. So the next step is plug everything together, put the whole thing together so you know where everything is. Now the downside to these kits is they really don't give you any directions. You can see there's really nothing going on even on the outside of the box, but you can kind of just look at stuff that, well, the connectors are not all the same, so you should just be able to kind of look at what they have here and realize this plugs into that, that plugs into that, so on and so forth. Kind of like this connection goes with that one. You can see it by looking at it. So you have to do some logical deduction to kind of figure out what parts go to what. Like see, this part goes here, that's the ballast and that. And then this goes into there. You get the idea. The ends of this match up with those. So put the whole thing together so it's all laid out. And then we start the install. That way you know everything's there, everything's together. Plus you don't want to be in a cramped space trying to put things together. That's how you really mess up your hands, and you start getting weird cuts on your fingers and hands and stuff, and it's just not cool. So I'm going to do that real quick and bring you back. All right, so I'm back. Everything's all plugged up. So just, you can see the ballast. So pretty much on this side, the only thing you have to do is plug in the light bulb and set of ground, which, let's see, I found one earlier, right there. Anything that's got a green wire run into it, this has got a bunch of black ones. Anything that bolts to the frame is a ground wire, so there's where you're both that in. And then here's the rest of the loom going over. Same setup, clips here, ballast, light bulb. So this side, just a few extras. So you will have your ground wire, which you'll run it to the one that comes right off the battery, right there. This is your power wire, so you'll connect that straight to the battery. Cool thing is it's also got a 30 amp fuse, so that something blows, you can replace it. This plugs right into your headlight loom, which is that right there, and that's what allows you to use the stock controls with this setup and not have to do any splicing or rerunning wires back to the cab. So right, I'm going to hook everything up and show you what it looks like when I'm done. So a quick little note here. So one of the things you're going to have to do is plug in a light bulb, and it's not too straightforward. So this, your ordinary light bulb just stabs right in, and then this housing here slips over and locks it into place. Now with these, obviously it presents a little challenge considering how big this back end is. So what you're gonna have to do is this little neck here, you have to pull that off, slip this neck over it, then put that back on, and then it should all work. So here we are, all back together. Slightly crooked, but once it goes in, it should all line up. But it's a bit tricky, but it works. You just gotta make sure you line up all the little lock rings to this hat here, the housing, and to the bulb, and you should get it. So this is a matter of taking that sleeve off. Now one thing you have to know about light bulbs, especially HIDs, You do not want to touch them with your bare fingers, or at least leave your fingerprints on them before putting them in. You have to be clean before going in, or you'll burn these out. And that pretty much goes for any light bulb. So keep that in mind when you remove this foam. You're going to stop burning. So all right, I'm going to finish the rest of the install. And if I have any notes, I'll let you know. Okay, so I got everything hooked up, ground to ground. That blue thing to the back of the headlight. And also got this hooked up to the battery. And guess what? They work. Get this, I'm in broad sunlight right here. And you can tell they're on. So, one thing I forgot to mention, these are the 6000K, which is supposed to be like somewhat on the white or blue side. So yeah, I'm gonna end up zip tying everything up and cleaning up the place, and then I'll show you what it looks like at night. So before I show you what it looks like at night, which I don't know about you guys, I'm freaking dying, I just can't wait. But I wanted to show you how I finally cleaned up everything. So starting with the side, I've got my ballast here with self-tap and screw, just screwed there to the panel, make it nice and clean. Took my wiring down here, ran alongside the battery, zip tied everything into bundles, as you can see down there. And then over here is a relay, which I also self-tap screwed to the front frame there. As you can see, it just looks so professional. It's all hidden away. And then the loom that has to run over is just zip tied and ran underneath here. And then here down, I got it all nice and zip tied and bundled. Then I took that ballast and I screwed it to the front frame along with a zip tie at the bottom. Oh, another thing is, because one side you won't use the original wiring loom for the headlights, as you can see it there, I've it wrapped in electrical tape so it's all nice and water sealed again. You don't want any water getting in there. So just a little side note there. So as you can see, it just looks, it's really clean, it's really professional looking, it's almost stock. You really can't tell. I mean, dead giveaway, usually you got some things coming off the battery, and if I get enough of these, eventually I'll probably just get a set of wiring loom casing and cover it up, and it'll look really good. Other than that, it looks factory. And guys, you know me by now, it's gotta look professional, it's gotta look factory, it's gotta look clean. DIY's got a bad reputation for like work. So keep that in mind. I mean, you remember when we did this KC light, the Cyclone install? Look at it, clean, professional, looks like it belongs there. After all, it's the Minute Masters, not the Shady Masters. So anyway, I'm gonna show you what this looks like at night. All right, so here's the stock headlights. No fancy bulbs, nothing. This is just bare bones, nothing special. And that's on lows. That's it on highs. All right, guys, what you've been waiting for. This is with the HIDs installed. This is just normal, which is like even 10 times better than, the high beams on the stock headlights. And here we go, here's the high beams. Probably needs a little more aiming. I'm thinking they just need to be aimed up a little more, because you can see there's a lot of light being shined right down the road. But I don't know about you guys, this is freaking awesome. And if your headlights suck, you're gonna wanna do this. All right, we are back. So I don't know about you guys, but the difference between the stock headlights and the HIDs is freaking awesome. Just blowing my mind. I'm getting nothing but compliments. I went to a bonfire last night on a farm, pitch black, no lighting, and I just lit up the whole night. A whole bunch of car guys, they were freaking out. They thought it was so cool. They're like, dude, it doesn't even look like an old truck anymore. And I got to admit, when I get it out of the truck, it looks like some hot new truck fresh off the assembly line. It does not look like it's a 1995. So I highly recommend it. It's the Op7 HID Bolt Series kit. You can go on Op7's website, or you probably can find them through some other supplier. Now, mine's a high and low beam kit, so it might be a little more expensive than what I paid. I got that kit secondhand off a guy for about 50 bucks. He said he paid about 80, so that's probably about right. But again, highly, highly recommend it. I mean, it's just, I feel like I'm finally seeing things at night, and that's a good thing for multiple reasons. A few things I wanted to mention are, one, I noticed that the kit doesn't allow you to use the temporary, like, how you like just flash your high beams or brights at somebody. It doesn't allow you to do that. So if you want to do it, you actually have to push the lever forward. There's not that temporary lever. And maybe that's because they weren't warmed up when I tried it, you know, so I'll keep testing that. Another thing I mentioned too was that I need to adjust the headlights up, so you guys may have to do that too. If you're unsure how to do that, you'll notice, at least on this year Ford truck, there's a little like steel rod that comes up behind the headlight. You turn that and it actually adjusts the headlight in multiple directions. So something to consider for yourselves. Another thing too that you'll notice, if you've never used HIDs or been with a car or anything like that, they have to warm up. And that's because, you know, the power comes from the battery, has to go through the, those ballasts and all that, and get transformed, and wattage and science. But anyway, basically what it means for you is you'll turn it on, and it will start off kind of low, and then it will increase in brightness until it finally reaches full 6K or whatever kit you buy, because mine's the 6000K, 6K. So that's something to keep in mind. If that's something that annoys you, maybe you shouldn't do HIDs, but it does not annoy me because they're freaking awesome. I think it's cool because you watch a Mercedes-Benz commercial, that's how the lights are. It's like boom, boom, and it just brightens up. So anyway, that's it for me, guys. If you want to watch any of my other videos, just click over here on some of those. If you want to subscribe icon right over here. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up. Please share it with everyone and all that cool stuff. Otherwise, Steve from the Minute Masters, thanks for watching.